Norman Powell.
Hello.
People that aren't already fans of yours should be, and that's how we got here. It's been a thrill to watch just how great you've become this season, and I think that more people should know how we got here. So, let's start at the beginning. Local legend Norman Powell, growing up somewhat nearby. What was Kid Norm like?
I don't know, he was just a kid that wanted to have fun, always running around, probably doing crazy stuff. Growing up, my sisters would team up on me for being the youngest and have me do a bunch of different things just to
Like
laugh
what?
at me. I remember when my mom was gone, it was me and my second oldest sister, Margaret. We weren't allowed to be outside or anything like that because it was only her, so she had to run an errand or whatever. She had set rules and things. But being a kid, not listening and breaking the rules, we used to go outside and play around. But one day, my sister dared me to go over the fence into our neighbor's yard. I believe something went over the fence, like a ball or something that we were playing with, and we had to grab it, but we couldn't knock on the neighbor's door because we would have gotten in trouble. So she dared me to jump over the fence and grab it. And me, I was a climber. I loved climbing on trees and doing everything outside. But I got caught on the fence, and my mom had came home, and my sister left me hanging on the front fence when I was a little kid, and we both got in trouble.
Your clothes or what?
No, I was hanging, my two hands on the top of the fence, trying to pull myself up. But my mom
Mom pulls into the driveway.
Yeah, and my sister takes off and runs into the house and just leaves me out there.
What was
it was
Mom's
just
reaction?
me. She was mad, but then just thought it was funny as well. I think being the youngest, I got away with a lot of stuff just because it was funny and cute, being young and breaking the rules. But yeah, I was all over the place when I was a kid.
And you were the only boy, is that right? So you're still close with your mom. Tell me about your relationship with Mom.
I'm definitely a mama's boy. I have no shame in saying that. I always was sitting in my mom's lap growing up. I always wanted to be around her. I think just because she was on her own, somebody that I could lean on and she can lean on as well. But super close, talk about everything. If I'm going through something, she's the person that I call to get through it. And she's always been a big supporter. She was super strict on me and my sisters, which I think in the long run, growing up and being an adult now, I can see the lessons and the tough love that she gave and where it was coming from. And being a Black African-American and navigating this world and the challenges that come with it, it definitely helped shape me. But we're super close. I love my mom. I try to give her the world now for everything that she sacrificed for me and my two sisters. She's everything to me.
You and your sisters all, my understanding is, have grown up to be successful in your own right. What did Mom teach you guys when you were young that's created three such successful people?
A little bit of everything. She taught us the importance of school and education, that nothing comes before that. Everything else kind of fades with time, but your education will stay with you forever. The degree, the documentation of you completing a course or whatever for whatever you want to do in your life. You'll need that. And just the importance of being able to navigate situations, being African American and the struggles that come with that, pitfalls and things that you have to go through, and how to navigate that. How to kind of play the game is what she calls it. If you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with BS. So I kind of use that saying all the time in my path to be here. And focusing on what I want to accomplish out of life.
Okay, wait, say more. If you can't dazzle them
with brilliance, baffle them with
BS. How does that play into your day-to-day life now?
Just, if you go about everything the right way, and things aren't going the right way, they're not giving you the opportunity and you're doing the right things, kind of throw little things at them to make them pay attention, to make them take notice, even if you're doing it the right way, putting in the time, putting in the work, and you're not seeing the results. And I think I've used that in the course of my career to get to where I'm at now.
So back to the importance of education. My understanding is when you were a kid, you had an auditory processing disorder, speech impediment. You would never know based on the person that you present today. No,
That's
seriously.
crazy.
And I can only imagine as a kid how frustrating that might have been. What do you remember about getting through that?
I remember it being really tough. I remember teachers not being able to understand me, especially in elementary school. I actually bit my teacher when I was second grade because she couldn't understand me. And the only person that could understand me was my sister Margaret. I don't remember what I was trying to get her attention for. I just remember she wasn't understanding what I was saying, and I just bit her.
But you got so frustrated as a young child that you're trying to get someone to pay attention to you. And what did you learn from that experience? Does it manifest at all now? My belief is that kids that have to overcome something usually become super resilient adults. And I feel like we see that with you. Is that a good read?
Yeah, I think it's helped me be able to control emotions a little better. I'm not the best at it still, but I think it helped me actually be okay with needing help and needing to learn something new. I had to go to speech therapy, but it made me be okay and comfortable in my own skin, having to go through being different, quote unquote, compared to the other students, being made fun of for my disability or disorder, I don't know what you want to call it, but just being different in how I process information. Now I'm very comfortable in my skin. I don't really care what people think or say about me because of the things that I went through early on as a kid.
And you have no problems communicating, we know this.
If you pay attention to some of the words and things that I say, you can still hear it and how I pronounce words, but I've done pretty good.
What advice do you have for young kids that might be dealing with either similar disorders or just struggling to communicate, struggling to feel heard or seen in a similar light as young Norm? What would you tell them?
I think the biggest thing is just being okay, and understanding and knowing not everybody's the same. A lot of it is outside of your control, so you can't get down on yourself or upset or shy away. I think it's something that you can lean into and find different ways to process it and get better. I think honestly it's an advantage because you get extra work, you get extra help, and down the line you might not see it right there in the moment, but down the line it's gonna help you because you've gotten extra assistance and extra help. So I say lean into it and accept it and know that you're not any different. It's going to help you down the line, but just be comfortable in your skin.
So while you're overcoming all of this, basketball is also starting to become a huge part of your life, right? Growing up as a kid. When did you realize that maybe basketball could be a career?
I think early on. I think I've always loved the game of basketball, just growing up and watching it. As basketball players, you always hear the stories of watching their favorite players and things like that, but I just love the game so much. Julius Erving was one of my favorite players from the old school days watching and just following. I remember my mom used to give me the top 50 players NBA book, and I would read his page over and over again.
Have you met him yet?
I haven't met him in person. My mom did.
He's so cool.
My mom did.
He's cool as a cucumber.
So I'm jealous about that.
When did you meet him?
She met him at the NBA Moms event, All-Star Weekend in Toronto. She met everybody, Shaq, Charles, all the guys that I wanted to meet. She's met first, so that's cool for her. I've always loved the game growing up, and I would always mimic and go to the park. And once Kobe came to the league and he became my new favorite player, watching him and D Wade and just watching those clips from YouTube videos and documentaries about them and just mimicking their games, and even guys like Sebastian Telfair that people don't really know. I just love the game and wanted to be at that level with those guys.
Did you notice as a kid sort of your work ethic that we see now, even setting you aside from other NBA players? Mm-hmm. Did you know that you had an extra gear in terms of work?
Like I said, it came from my mom. Like you said, she was a single parent raising 3 kids, and just seeing her work and seeing her stay on us and telling us what it's going to take and putting in that extra time. Even with my education, my mom made me have to write and copy books to work on my penmanship and help me read and understand words before I could go outside and play. So it was always about hard work and putting that in. And then with my uncle, I'm seeing him, develop his business after everything he's gone through and the work that he was putting in there. That's why I have the tattoo of him dedicated to him after he passed away, with hard work on the top of it, because he always told me with hard work, anything is possible. It started from an early age, and I knew I wanted to play basketball. I was willing to do whatever and commit whatever to that.
So your mom was an influence from day one. You mentioned your uncle coming into your life, getting you ready on a basketball side of things, right? Can you talk about the significance of who he was for you?
My uncle was everything to me as well. He used to take me up to Balboa Park and we'd play one-on-one, and I could never beat him.
How old were you?
I was in middle school.
Okay, so how old were you when you beat him for the first time?
Middle school.
Okay.
Just because I was super competitive. I could never beat him, and we'd be up there for hours. And it was almost to the point where I'd start crying because I couldn't beat him, so he had to let me beat him. That's where I beat him. Even though I was in middle school, he let me win just so we can move on from the situation and just start shooting around and just talking. But he always had belief in me. Always said that I'd be able to make it to the NBA. He used to call me Big Shot Powell when I was little. And when I asked him why, he always said that it's because I'm going to be relied upon to take the big shots and then make the big shots. So he was a big influence on me and just instilling confidence in me because he saw how much I loved the game and letting me know that I can make it if I'm willing to put the work in.
And as you made your college decision, he might have played a role in sort of getting you ready to be a college basketball player, right? Tell me about the decision, though, that you had to make school to school, Uncle Raymond versus Norm.
Yeah, so I wanted to go to USC because of him. He was a big USC fan. Football was his sport, and Reggie Bush went to USC. And side note, my high school coach, Coach Nick Young, and he went to USC. One of my favorite players who was in high school when I was in middle school was DeMar DeRozan, and he went to USC. So there was a bunch of ties about why, but my uncle was the main one. But when I was making my decision to go after he passed away, I took a break from basketball because he meant so much to me and was one of the reasons why I started playing basketball. I thought about giving up basketball just because I was so hurt and messed up as a kid in high school. But when I decided to play again, I didn't play well in the AAU tournaments that we had. And USC decided to pull their scholarship, saying that I wasn't the player that they thought I was. And I went to UCLA because through all of that, through all the hardships that me and my family was going through at the time with my uncle passing, they stayed with me, they stayed committed, and they were by my side every step of the way, supporting me and my family. And that was huge for me. You know, loyalty is everything to me, and to have a school stay with you, especially at that caliber, and knowing that they can go out and get anybody in the country, but they really believed in me and my abilities and the character of who I was the main decision why I decided to go to UCLA. And I thought it was the best of both worlds, educationally and basketball-wise, giving me the best opportunity and chance to achieve what I wanted on both sides of the spectrum.
So associating basketball so closely with your uncle and then losing him, and I can only imagine how challenging it was to continue playing without him. So for anyone that's gone through something similar, what was the decision like to say, you know what, no, I've lost someone that's really important to me, but I've kept the game, and I know you now honor him by continuing to play at the level that you do. Mm-hmm. What was it like to make that decision to push through and to choose to keep with it?
I just remember it being really, really tough for me. And I remember when we went to his funeral, you know, say my last words and goodbyes to him, I just committed everything. I remember saying that everything that I do from here on out with basketball will be dedicated to him. And that was that moment and that decision that I'm gonna keep going, and everything would be for him because of his belief. And I know that he wouldn't want me to give up what I love because he's not here. And I know that he's always supported me and will always be there in my heart. And every single time we do the national anthem, I always say that I love him and that I got him. So every single time I go out there, I know that he's always with me.
He said that you were going to make big shots. Let's fast forward to 2025 Norman Powell, the most efficient fourth quarter shooter in the NBA this season. You were in the all-star conversation, from your mom to your sisters to your uncle to everybody that comes into this building. People are so proud of what you've been able to do this year. What do you make of the year that you've had? I know that you're unsurprised by the success as it correlates to the opportunity that you've had, but what's it been like to live in your world this season?
Honestly, it's not at all peaches and rainbows, as my mom would say. It hasn't been all great, you know. I don't know. I'm a very homebody to myself introvert. I don't really like talking about myself. I don't really like hearing numbers and things like that.
You shook your head when I told you a great stat.
Yeah, I just love the game, and I'm just focused on trying to be the best player and trying to win. So honestly, I feel a little uncomfortable with all the talk and the conversations and the interview. You know, it's something that I didn't anticipate. You know, I just wanted it. You know, I want to be an all-star. I wanted to win NBA championships. And I didn't really understand growing up what comes with that. You know, the fame and people knowing you and stopping you outside and, you know, having to be a certain type of way. So it's not always great because of how I am personally. You know, I like my own space. I like being to myself. You know, having to be more open and accepting, knowing that this is what comes with it, you know, and trying to navigate and adjust to that has been the biggest thing for me. But like you said, on the court, you know, this is what I expected. You know, this is what I've been waiting for my whole career. I think I've prepared for it. And I think, honestly, if I can go straight to it, away from the storytelling, I just think people never really paid attention to what I was doing. If you look at the course of my career and do a deep dive, you can see that this production and what I'm doing now was always there. I think it was just overshadowed by, you know, being a supporting player and just being able to step in. I think people saw me as oh, he's a plug and play guy that if your star players are out, hurt, or whatever it is, you can play and you'll still have the same production. But nobody took that as you know what, we can feature him in the way he's
He can be
playing.
the star player.
Yeah. I think that's really what it was. And now for me, it's like I could have been doing this in year 5 earlier on, but you know, I was always fortunate. I think it's like two-sided thing. I was fortunate to be able to be on teams that were contending for championships. And when you're on teams contending for championships, they already have their set franchise players and things like that. And to be a player that they contribute to winning was always more important than me having individual success, because like Kobe said, I want to win as many championships as possible, and that was my thing. Like, I've only won one, but I've been on teams my whole career where we have a chance to win it, and I care more about winning than putting up 25 a night.
It's harder to break through when you're in a system that has higher expectations, right? You've never been a good stats, bad team guy. You've had to become a good stats, good team guy. I admired the way that you were candid about your disappointment in not making the All-Star team and getting as close as you did, being in the conversation for the first time. Have you been able to reflect and gain some pride for having been as close as you were, or are we still just like frustrated by it?
I'm still frustrated by it. You know, I think when I take a step back and look at where I'm at now and everything that I've been through, it's amazing. Nobody thought that I'd be in the conversations for being an All-Star. When I said that, when I first got here to the Clippers, publicly, I've always said it to my teammates and to my friends and family. But when I said that publicly, I really feel like the media thought I was crazy. And it was just like, this role player has high expectations for himself, but he'll never be. And I remember I have a screenshot of an article saying that when I was first coming into the league, that I won't be a focal point offensively for a team. Yeah, people just thought I was crazy. And I always knew that I could play at this level. So I think it's a testament to, one, the belief that I have in myself, the work that I put in, and not putting a cap on my abilities. It's the first time, and I'm hopefully next year. It's motivation, but I want to be an All-Star. I believe that I am an All-Star, especially with the way they shut down this team after Paul George and Russ left, and where we're at. You know, James been great this year, and you know, he's been doing what he's been doing in this league. But I think the unsung heroes is me and Zoo, and stepping into that role and helping us be where we're at. Nobody thought that, and I thought that was the respect factor and how I was going to be able to get in. You know, everybody doubted me, everybody didn't believe in me, everybody thought I was crazy and talking a big game, you know, but I backed it up, and I thought that was going to be enough to get me into the All-Star game.
I think a lot of people thought it was enough. And I think what we learned is there are more All-Stars than there are All-Star spots. You've played like one, you've been one. We're here at Intuit Dome. You grew up in Southern California. You're having this breakout year, the same year that this building is unveiled. What's it like to play here? What's it like to be part of the first group, score the first bucket in this building?
Honestly, it's amazing. That was one of my checklists for the season, to score the first bucket in Intuit. And I was glad Tilu drew up the first play for me, because
Like, yes.
I told, like, even if we would have lost the tip and the other team would have shot the ball, if I would have caught the ball, I was shooting it. I literally told my trainer AJ that. I told all my friends, I'm shooting the first shot to give me a chance to make the first basket. And so I was glad Tilu drew up the first play and we won the tip, and I was able to, my first shot went in. So that was a good feeling, just for a little individual Easter egg for me. But it's been great, you know, to be a part of the first team to play here. The fans have been great. The facility is amazing. I enjoy being able to have our own space to come in and anytime we want. I'm a big person that likes to get my workouts in early or come back at night, and just the facility has been amazing, and I encourage everybody to come out, even if you're not a basketball fan or a Clippers fan or just trying to figure it out, to come out here and see this, because there's so many great things about it, especially on the concourse. The way Steve has really committed to the fan experience and making sure everybody enjoys it. There's a lot of things to experience around here, and I think one visit isn't enough. You know, you have to come back a few times to really get everything that this building has to offer.
It's truly unlike anywhere else, but you have been a massive part of creating what it's become in its first season. Norman Powell, thank you for helping us get to know you better. We're excited to keep watching you play here, beyond All-Star games, playoffs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.